Are Mixtiles really worth the money? Hey everyone, I'm Coral and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, click that subscribe button down below and hit the bell for new videos every week. About a year ago, I ordered Mixtiles for my office. Mixtiles are the photo tiles that you can print pictures of from your phone or your computer and then you stick them on the wall. I put them up in my office and I did a whole entire review of the product. Now, about a year later, I want to share my updated review, what I think about them, and answer the biggest question. What happens to the wall when you move them? To start off, let's talk about the price. I've seen some different prices online and in the app, but for the most part, Mixtiles are $49 for your first 3 tiles, and then each additional tile that you add on to your order is $9. When I ordered my Mixtiles last year, I decided to do a 3x3 grid for a total of 9 tiles. So overall, the cost of my Mixtiles was $103. They do always give you free shipping, so that is a plus and not an added cost there. So when I originally ordered these, I was a little hesitant because $103 is kind of expensive for a gallery wall when you can easily go out and buy frames and print pictures for much cheaper. But over the course of the year and having these Mixtiles up and looking at them every day, they become more and more worth the money to me. One huge thing with these Mixtiles is that hanging them is super easy. I hung these all by myself and it took me about 17 minutes to get all 9 of them hung. For me, that's pretty huge because usually I'd have my husband or my mom helping me line them up and get them all straight, and it'll take a lot more time, especially if you are putting nails in a wall with a regular gallery wall. It takes a long time to get all of the frames lined up and put in the right spot. Definitely would take more than 17 minutes, so they are super easy to hang. Whenever you put them on the wall for the first time, all that you have to do is peel off the plastic backing on the back of the adhesive and then stick them onto the wall. They're really easy to readjust as necessary. I put them on the wall and readjusted them multiple times based on spacing, and I pulled out a level and made sure that everything was level, and they didn't give me any trouble coming on and off the walls while I was putting them on for the first time. For the very first one that I peeled off and adjusted when I was first putting them up, I was a little bit scared that it would mess up the wall, so I very carefully peeled it off and checked it out, and everything seemed all right, and then moving all the other ones wasn't a big issue. In order to space them out on the wall the very first time I put them up, I just used some lined paper and marked the spot that I wanted around each frame to space in between each one, and that made it super easy. I just slid that in, put the frame on, and then use the level to adjust it to make sure it was level and then lined up with all the other frames. Overall, I think that these Mixtiles are probably the easiest thing that I have ever hung in my house. And the fact that you don't have to put holes in the wall in order to put them up because they're sticky is a huge plus for me, because I don't like to put unneeded holes in the wall. And then if it did need to be adjusted, that would be multiple holes that I have in the wall. Another thing that I love about these Mixtiles is that it makes a great gallery wall. I've talked about this before in some of my other videos. When you have a really big wall to fill, creating a gallery wall with multiple images or frames is a really nice way to fill out a wall. These have looked so nice as a gallery wall behind me and were a great backdrop for my beginning videos on YouTube. Because they are all uniform and 8x8 inches, it just gives a nice pleasing look on the wall. Next, I'm going to talk about the material that these Mixtiles are made of. One of the cons in my original review is that I felt like the material these Mixtiles were made out of was not very quality. I chose the Ever style, which has a white frame around it, and then the picture on the Mixtile is shrunk in a little bit to make it look like there is a mat on the frame. Now, in the app and on the website, they don't make it very obvious that there's not an actual picture mat on this picture, and so I thought that that's what I should be expecting. So when I opened them up for the first time and realized that it is just a smaller picture with a white border around it and then the white frame, I was a little bit disappointed. I was also a little bit disappointed because the frame was pretty plasticky and felt kind of cheap to me, and the board that the photo is printed on is kind of like a foam board. After putting these up on the wall and looking at them every day for a year, this is not bothering me as much as it originally did. Because you're not actually feeling the frames all the time, it's not a big deal. and I don't really notice that it doesn't have a mat around it. When I'm just glancing at it, it looks really nice and clean. Now, I will say, if I were to order Mixtiles again, I might choose a different style where the picture goes all the way to the outside of the frame. The clean style has a white frame around it, so I assume it would be the same white frame that I have on my Mixtiles, but the picture goes all the way to the edge. And then the edge style is more like a traditional square canvas where the picture goes all the way to the front of the frame, and then the edges and sides of the frame just kind of look more like a canvas. They're not like a finished frame edge. I've seen some pictures and videos of those ones, and those look really nice. I definitely don't regret getting the ones that I have. I really like them a lot and love the way that they look, but I'd probably just try another style next time. And now to the biggest question that I usually get about these Mixtiles. What happens to the wall and the Mixtiles once they've been on there for a long time and you decide to move them? So about a month ago, I got a desktop iMac computer. Before that, I was just using a laptop on my desk. So the Mixtiles were really low so that they could make a nice background for my videos, and they weren't in the way whenever I was using my laptop. Once I put my computer on the desk, the Mixtiles were too low. My computer was covering part of the very first row. So I knew that I needed to move them. Instead of moving all of them, I decided to take the bottom row that was being covered by the computer and move them to the top row. I wasn't super hesitant to do this because I knew that when I had moved the Mixtiles originally, when I put them on the wall to adjust them, that didn't have any issues, but I was a little bit concerned about how well that they would stick to the wall after being there for so long and I moved them. Would the adhesive still be sticky enough to keep them on the wall? So I peeled off that bottom row and added them to the top. Again, I used a level to make sure that they were all level, and then this time I used a Post-it and kind of marked how much space I wanted in between each of the tiles. They have been in this new position for a little over a month now, and I have had absolutely no issues with them. They came off the wall nice and clean, no damage to the wall, no damage to the adhesive, which was still super sticky. I put them in the new place and they are sticking great. So to answer the question, if you move these after a long time of being on the wall, they won't ruin your wall, and yes, they will still re-stick to the wall. Despite my original disappointment about the frame material, I honestly love these photo tiles. They are insanely easy to hang, they make a gorgeous gallery wall, and they don't damage the wall whenever you move them. A year later, I think that I love them more than when I first put them on the wall. To get more information and my in-depth review, click right here for my original Mixtiles review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.